Welcome to Neko Nation Japan. This is Jeremy coming back at you from all the way over here in Japan. Now, today we're going to do a little bit of interesting thing I was looking into. We're looking at the 7 things that you could stop buying to save you money, increase your investing income, and just reduce the clutter and general overall junk you have in your life. This is kind of a little minimalistic life. Now, me being in Japan, we went from a 1,300 square foot house down to about 600 square feet. So it's a vast reduction of space. So we had to eliminate a lot of the rent just stuff we had in the States coming here. And plus, we eliminated a few other expenses that I'd like to go through this video and talk to you about. All right, starting off with essential living expenses reduction. Number one, living expense reduction that you could do every day is drinks. Now, whether that's going out for coffee, you can always have a cheaper alternative than your Starbucks or just buying coffee out. Your 20-cent coffees just made at home, always a good choice instead of going out and buying your Starbucks that costs $5, $6. It's probably even more expensive now. I don't know because I don't buy it. Your drinks, your sugar waters, all the sodas. Now, I do own Coca-Cola. I think they're an awesome brand and they pay great dividends, which I love. But there is plenty of more healthy alternatives out there for you to drink on an every day-to-day basis. Reduce the sugar waters, reduce the coffee, reduce your alcohol consumption. In general, that'll save you so much money. And what's not to like with just reduce, that consumption and improve your health on an everyday basis. What should you do? What should you drink with all this reduction in your sugars, your caffeines, and all that? Get yourself a bag of tea. Put it in there if you want a little flavor in your drinks, or regular old water. Now, I would not say definitely skip your bottled water. It's a great thing as far as marketing goes. And if you want to make money, bottled water is an awesome way to go. But if you're trying to save it, invest it in your future, reduce the bottled water. Get a Brita filter, get a home filtration system, whatever the case you need to do. Now, my primary drink is water, and I do like milk, which can be run expensive sometimes. But definitely number one is water for me. All right, moving on to tip number 2. Now, this one's a little controversial. So, tip number 2 is reduce buying on sale items. Now, if you buy something on sale, you get a great price, right? It's $100 normally, you get it for $25. Oh, congratulations. You got this thing so cheap. One, is the price actually usually $100, or is it one of those items that's always on sale? Next, do you actually need this thing? Is this thing just going to sit in your house collecting dust and taking up space? And then you got to pay for, if it's anything really expensive, you got to pay for upkeep and maintenance, like cars, for instance. All these kinds of different things that play in a factor, taking up room in your life, taking up the mental clutter, all kinds of things. Something you should definitely. And how many times you get these coupons, you go to the place, you get all these stuff for really cheap. One, is it all just junk? Is it junk for you? Is it stuff you really want to eat and put in your body? And then, do you need this stuff? Are you just spending money because it's cheap and on sale? And where is that money going? You just pay them for all this junk and you put it in your cupboard, you put it here, you put it there, taking up all this room in your life, and you're probably never going to eat it or use the thing. So one, make sure you're going to use it. If it's on sale, okay, buy it. 2, give yourself some time. Figure out, okay, I want to buy this item. It's on sale now. Okay, look into it. Wait a little bit of time and say, oh, do I really need this item still? If yes, go get it, whether it's on sale or not. All right, number 3. Number 3, this one's a little bit tricky. Buy in bulk. Now, there's a caveat here. You're going to buy in bulk specific things that you need and you can save. So toilet paper, your sundries, all that stuff you can buy in bulk so cheaper than if you just buy the little tiny things. And when you're buying in bulk, make sure if you get bulk packs of chicken or bulk meats that you're taking that item and probably freezing the majority of it so you can obviously have that later. When you buy stuff in bulk, make sure you're going to use it and you don't want to do waste. If you could buy, 30 things of lettuce, are you going to actually use 30 things of lettuce? You buy one, use it, and the rest just end up going in the trash, which is not good for anybody. Not good for the environment, not good for your wallet, and just not good for your health. And where are you going to store all this? Now, being in a really small place in Japan, it's really caveat. We have a limited storage space for everything in your refrigerator, in your freezer, all those things. So we have to take it in mind if we're buying something in bulk, which we try to do as much as possible here in Japan. There's not too many stores that do that. Can we put this in a spot that, one, will stay good for a very long time, and two, will we actually have room for this and everything else we need to use? Usually that's okay. We've been kind of getting into a balancing act so far, but not too bad. What do you think your major expenses are? One, wherever you're living, your mortgage or your rent. That's what we're here. We're paying rent. It's not horrible. We got it on the cheaper end just because it's kind of an older place. Second is your car. The next most expensive thing is your car. How much do you spend per year or per 6 months on insurance, gas, repairs, maintenance? And a lot of people have car payments, thousands of dollars a year that you end up spending on a car that maybe you can try public transportation. We only use public transportation here, so it was kind of forced us out of having a car in Japan, which is fine. I do want to eventually maybe get a car, but you got to redo the license, kind of a hassle, and I'm like just sitting on it, letting it stew for now, figuring out, do we really need a car or not? It is right now a great expense that we don't have to pay for, and we're putting all that money towards other things like business opportunities, investing in stock market, and just saving up for when we have enough, when we see something really interesting, boom, we go out and we get that interesting investment opportunity and idea. I guess not to mention, if you don't have a car, that's quite a bit of stuff you're not putting into the environment, whether it's diesel, electric. You're still using some energy source from somewhere that pollutes the environment. It helps out quite a bit. I have a bike and I walk, and that's pretty much it. Unless I ride the train, which is a great public transport here in Japan. Trains are pretty good. It's probably one of the best in the world, although South Korea was pretty good as well. Really cheap and well maintained, but they're almost brand new. They just looked at what Japan did, copied it, and did it a little newer and a little better. But I digress. Now, basically, see if you can eliminate your car from a daily use basis and save the money. Put it in investment. Number 5, really specific for me. Lately, I've been reading and listening to a lot of books. So if you can eliminate the cost for books, whether that's getting used books, whether that's just finding one bargain bin, saying, there's that book I've been looking for, not buying it immediately off Amazon, something like that. Now, I know the convenience of it, but you're, one, creating a lot of space you're taking up around your house. 2, that's a lot of paper and this kind of thing. Not great for the environment, but whatever. So see if there's that audiobook version. I've been hitting audiobooks hard lately. Lots of audiobooks every day I've been listening to and just going through, and I've been slowly dwindling my collection down. Now, moving to Japan, I came here with about 4 books, and I've tried to keep to that as the minimum, but I'm going back and forth. I see this book. That looks interesting. I read it. Once I'm done reading it, I could just either give it to somebody else, which is always pay it forward, or donate it to used bookstore and see if you can get a little money out of it. And then usually end up buying different used books that say might be interesting for you to read. It comes down to keep the books you really love and just share the rest with somebody else that could be, partner on your journey, trying to get into investing or business or just anything you generally want to do, with a storybook, so that just give it to somebody who really thinks you might like it. This one's a little bit tough. Eating out. Now, I don't eat out much, but when I do, it's usually the sushi place right down the road. It's the 100 yen sushi, or $1 per thing of sushi. It's not too bad. That's probably our most common. We do eat a few places in Suita, which I've been frequenting a lot lately. It happens. I try to keep eating out to a minimum. It's probably, besides rent, which is, a decent expense every month, that may be the next highest thing we spend money on. And it's definitely not much per month. I would probably estimate uh 2,000 to 3,000 yen per month, and that $20 to $30 per month. I know many people eat out a lot more than this, and that's good for them if they can afford it. But if you didn't have that expense every month, what can you use that money for? I bet you can save that, invest it, and watch that money grow. I've been getting great returns on the dividends I've been showing on my other videos. I can't wait to get into this year. I'm going to change that month by month and really show what it is and what it's been returning to me, which has been awesome. In that vein, I guess, of thinking, you really got to look at what I heard, latte factor. That one thing that you end up spending a lot of money on every month or every year that you can kind of reduce and almost eliminate and use that money to invest in yourself, maybe some education or invest in some stocks or bonds, something that can give you a good return. And instead of just wasting that money on temporary pleasures or temporary rewards or something that you're just not going to use, something that sits around your house and kind of sits there, right? Find your latte factor. Try to eliminate as much as possible, whether it's eating out, whether it's going to movies, something you could do cheaper and get you just as much entertainment, or just going out for walks, whatever it may be. Get yourself healthy, get yourself entertained, and try to get yourself in a productive mindset. Lastly, number 7. This one is a little tricky. Investing in investments that you don't understand. So you invest in a stock. Oh, it's the hot stock right now. Oh, I'm going to make lots of money. And it ends up not being that great. You didn't understand the fundamentals behind it. You have to invest in what you know. Say, understand it, kind of live it. And the best way to say, if you understand it, can you explain it in 90 seconds to a 5-year-old? If you can, then you probably understand it. If you cannot, you may need to do a little more research on that. Now, this is a great little kind of way to look about. So look at a company. Do you understand what it does? Coca-Cola. What do? They sell beverages, and a lot of time just the syrup, and then they have whole bottling plants and a whole bunch of this great way to go about it. Do you understand it? What they do? How they make their money? What are their particular financial assets? Understand their income statement, if you will. And you can do this with just about anything, whether it be a business, whether it be just something you're trying to buy. Do you understand it? Do you need it? Do you love it? Maybe you could invest in it at that point, and you'd be much more likely to get a return on investment if you understand fundamentally what this thing does. With that, thank you very much for coming. My name is Jeremy. This is Neko Nation Japan. All the way from Japan, I'm saying sayonara.